Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're getting into a word, a really potent one, jeopardize. To jeopardize something, well, it means putting it at risk, right? In danger.
Exactly.
And that really sets up our big question for you listening.
Yeah.
What do you value so much that you'd actually, put something on the line for it
Yeah.
intentionally?
Yeah, that's a deep question because, as we'll sort of unpack here, valuing something deeply, it can lead to some strategies for dealing with risk that are, well, maybe not what you'd first expect.
Right.
It's not just about danger,
Right.
It's more calculated. It's nuanced, really, when it comes to protecting what matters.
Absolutely. And our sources today, they really push us to think differently about risk. Like, take protecting your family. Seems obvious, right?
The instinct is strong.
Most of us would say, yeah, I'd risk everything. But the source asks, okay, but how much risk? Like, would you actually run straight at someone with a machine gun to protect them?
And the point being,
Well, the sources argue that just rushing in, that achieves nothing.
Yeah.
You just get killed, and you fail the very people you were trying to save.
right. And that's where this fascinating shift comes in. It's not saying be a coward, not at all.
No.
It's about strategic effectiveness. To really protect what you value, the sources suggest thinking almost like an assassin.
Okay, unpack that. That sounds intense.
It does, but it's not about violence. It's about the mindset,
Yeah.
precision, surgical execution, kind of. Achieving the goal with the absolute minimum exposure to unnecessary danger.
Like a chess player. Thinking moves ahead.
Exactly. Strategy over just raw, unthinking bravery.
So the courage isn't always in the charge. Sometimes it's in holding back. Strategically.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's not the movie scene parent leaping through flames.
No, it's a much more thoughtful, almost cold calculation sometimes, but for the right reasons.
And this calculated approach, it's not just for these, extreme life or death things.
Right.
Our sources bring it down to personal growth, too, like academic goals, something many of us grapple with. Biting off more than you can chew, maybe, and it just shuts you down for a bit.
Yeah, and that raises a really key point about balancing ambition with, well, practical reality. The insight here is this idea called time reservation.
Time reservation. Okay.
What's kind of counterintuitive is that it acknowledges how crucial financial stability often is, just as a foundation for growth today. So instead of juggling everything maybe poorly,
You strategically delay.
you might strategically delay the really intense academic push. Yeah.
Okay, and the sources get specific about how that works, right?
They do.
The strategy they lay out is hold off temporarily on that big academic thing. Focus your energy, get your finances sorted.
Secure the base first.
Exactly. And then when the time feels right, you can actually risk that saved money, risk that dedicated time to really hit the books hard without that constant underlying pressure of just surviving day to day.
It's a calculated pause, like you said, a strategic retreat maybe, but for a much bigger push later on, a better investment.
And this whole idea, calculated investment, managing risk for a future reward, it goes way beyond just money or school, doesn't
Oh,
it?
absolutely. The sources apply it to the biggest picture, how we choose to live our whole lives, really.
How so?
Well, look, it's comfortable living safely day to day. We all seek that to some extent.
Sure.
But the sources highlight that sometimes when the feeling is right, as they put it, that's when you need to set sail to greater horizons. Take that calculated leap.
Which, brings us perfectly to that quote that just nails this whole idea.
Ship one.
Yeah. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. John Ched.
Power.
Really sums it up, doesn't it? Embracing purpose, looking beyond just safety, understanding that some risks are actually necessary to become what you're meant to be.
It truly is a powerful metaphor.
So wrapping this deep dive up, we've seen how jeopardizing something isn't always reckless. Often it's about smart calculation for what truly matters.
Yeah. Being wise. Knowing limits.
Knowing limits, making those calculated bets, time, money, even personal risk for bigger goals. It's not about avoiding risk, is it? It's about taking the right risks.
At the right time.
For the right reasons, yeah.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to consider. While safety, feels good, that harbor is comfortable, some things, like that ship, are built for more. So thinking about that ship and harbor idea, what greater horizon might you actually be built for? And what calculated risks might be needed to actually get there?